welcome back to my YouTube channel, and thank you for keeping the channel alive. Thank you for sticking through and watching those videos that are uploaded and for interacting. And today's topic, I bring you the difference or the similarities, if you have any, about studying in Hungary and also studying versus studying in South Africa. So yes, and I have some pointers that I wrote down, and just to share my experience, because surely we don't have the same studying system, and I've been privileged, or I've had the opportunity to experience both, and I loved it. I learned, and yes, so let's get on with the show. Firstly, it's the semesters. In South Africa, studies, a new semester starts in January. That is when the school calendar starts officially for the next year, which is January. But in Hungary, which is located in Europe, we start in September. Yes, September. So that is when the new enrollment happened. It's around September. So I started my studies in September 2020 on the 7th of September. That's when my registration came through. That was when the registration actually opened, and I registered online. And I was still in South Africa actually when the registration happened, but because their system is different from the one in South Africa, the registration happens online, which is one of the things that is different, or I can say is unique, about studying in Hungary. Registration, it happens online. We use the system called Neptune system, where you are able to see your syllabus. Your entire syllabus is there. You are able to see which subject you are supposed to register on which semester. Like the curriculum is there on the system, right? And then they write all your subjects for, depending on your search, what can I say, on your search button, and how you break it down. It might be for the entire course that you registered for, or it might be for like a semester. So if it's an entire course, you'll be able to see that, okay, I have business management, and it's on either semester 1, 2, 3, or 4. So they also write this semester, and then so the registration happens online. And whereas in South Africa, we actually go to the university, so people travel to the university to go and do their registration, and we stand in long queues, yes, for that registration day. And it takes the entire day. People usually wake up very early to reach registration, and so that you can go to the administration office where you can register. So it was quite a nice experience to actually be able to do a different system, or to learn a different system, where now moving from a physical registration to an online system. It was great. So you register online, click on your subject, and you're good to go. But the dangers of this online registration is that on the we have the Neptune system, where you get all your emails, and the Neptune system has your identity card. We call it the Neptune number, whereas in South Africa we have like we mostly use the student card number. But also in Hungary we have the student card number, but we don't use it to log into the system. We just use the Neptune code. And with the Neptune code, it is unique, and it is what identifies you in the university. So when you get that code, you log in, you have to check your emails, you have to and then those emails are like stating when registration opens and when does registration close. And also, if you made a mistake with your registration, you entered a subject that you were not supposed to enter, there's a grace period of when you can actually drop that subject. And then after that, you have to pay money, because it's a penalty. So yes, so it's not that students have an interaction with the administration system a lot. They don't, so yeah. But we have people we call coordinators at school, which is the first encounter you have at the university, because when you arrive, you have to meet your coordinator. They make you sign the forms, but you only do that at the start of your studies. So on the actual first semester, where you are trying to apply for your student cards, you're trying to apply for, you are signing forms for the scholarship. So yes, and also with the student card in Hungary, you get your student card once. Yes, so you take it once, which is at the beginning of your studies, and then for like after 3 months you go to the university, where they will give you a sticker, a current sticker. They put it on the back of your student card, and then with that they just, yeah, you just keep renewing the stickers every after like 3 months, so that your student card can be valid. But it's not that every semester you have to take a new student card. Nope, not like that. So yeah, and your student card is like valid for many years. Yes, it's not only for like 1 year, it's for like many years, in case you decide to maybe do your PhD. If you were doing your masters, if you were doing your bachelor's, maybe you want to extend into your masters, so it's valid until, I don't know, like how many years that is. And then with emails, the communication with the university, it goes through the Neptune, as I mentioned, the Neptune system. That is where you receive your emails, where they will be telling you it's registration time, it's this and that. And here the other one is grades, which is one of the things I think I like in Hungary, is that if maybe you get let's say 70%, and you're like, no, I don't like this mark, I want to improve, you ask the lecturer if it was like those, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, you are able to improve your grade. So what happens is that if we have an exam for a subject which is mostly online, yes, they haven't done physical exams, like they are usually online. There was one subject I went to the university to write the exam, but it was still on an online basis. So there's this system called CourseBase. In CourseBase, it is similar to Neptune, but on CourseBase, that's where the lecturers put the notes. That's where we get our exams depending on the subject, because there's another site called Moodle. Yes, there's another site called Moodle. So in Hungary, I have been using Neptune system, I have been using Moodle, I have been using CourseBase. So with CourseBase and Moodle, you can find the notes for that particular subject, you can find the exam, and then the exam is timed, right? And then you write it online, and time goes up, and then results are uploaded. So when the results come back, and then you are not satisfied with your mark, you are able to improve your grade. And you can only improve your grade provided that you registered for like a date, because when an exam is coming, we get 3 dates. So that's the beauty of it. We get 3 dates in Hungary, and then you have to choose which date you want to register for. So for instance, I take the first date, and then maybe I get like a 60-70%, and then I'll be like, no, I want to improve my grade, and then I register for the second exam. I apply for the second exam, yes, and then I'm able to improve my grade. And then even if it happens that you fail the first exam, you are eligible to write the second one, to register for the second date. So it's much safer to always pick the first exam date, so that should anything happen, you are still able to register for the second exam date. Yes. And then on the, I think there's a third chance, so it's 1, 2, 3, and then there's a third chance as well, a third date, yeah. And then after even that attempt that you still fail, then it means you have to write an email, and you have to pay to be able to take the exam again. So you get chances to improve your grades, and you also get a chance to redo an exam that you failed, which is a great initiative, I guess, because in South Africa, if you fail an exam, it means goodbye to you. We're gonna see you the next semester for the same subject. Yes, or we're gonna see you, yeah, next year for the same subject. But here you are still given 3 to 4 chances, and you can be able to rewrite the exam, which is something good that doesn't hold the students back in terms of their subjects. And then we also have the distinctions. And in South Africa, pass with distinction starts from like 75%. Yes. But here in Hungary, it starts from 91 or 92%. So that is a distinction. So your 80% is not a distinction, your 85, your 90 is not a distinction. You have to get 91 maybe. That's your distinction in Hungary. So if you, and also the grades in Hungary starts from 1 up to 5. In South Africa, it's 1 up to 7. So yeah, there's also that difference. So yeah, if you see our grades, it says P, pass with distinction. Just know that that was from 91 upwards. Yeah. So and then if you, and it's level 5, and then whereas in South Africa it starts from 75%, and that is like a level 7. So yeah, if you guys see our grades with 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and 4s, just know it was a huge percentage, but it didn't lead to a distinction. Maybe that 5 that you see, it's actually a distinction. So yeah, that is also another difference, I can say. And then our notes, I did mention that we get them from Moodle and CoSpace here in Hungary. And in South Africa, we would usually get like pamphlets when I was still a student there. So I don't know now if because of the pandemic, things might have changed in terms of having physical notes. Yeah, so the system might have changed, but I do know that they still go to like one-on-one classes, and then there are also online classes. Yeah, and also when the semester ends and then the next one is about to begin, we get like those questionnaires to grade the lecturer. So I've also heard that there was one lecturer that students were not happy about it, and because of the negative comments from the students' questionnaire, the university decided to remove that particular subject in the lecturer, because based on the questionnaires that the students wrote or answered. So when the semester ends, we get questionnaires to rate our lecturers based on the particular subject that we're teaching. So you get, maybe if I had like marketing, and then I'll get a questionnaire for marketing strictly, and then they will ask me some questions, and then I also have to rate, and then I also have to write what is it that I liked about the lecturer and what is it that I didn't like. So I think they just compare the questionnaires, and then if there's a lot of negativity towards that lecturer, then the university looks into it and tries to, maybe either they don't bring the subject back or the lecturer back for the next intake, or yeah, or they speak to the lecturer to try and find out what the issue was. So yeah, so students' views are taken seriously, especially when the semester ends. And then with those questionnaires, if you answered them for the next semester, you are eligible for an early registration because you answered the questionnaires. So yeah, it also helps with the registration, but the registration is not a fuss because it's just an online registration. You don't have to go to the university to be assisted. And also, final exam, when you are studying, there is no sitting in or sitting or like for your final exams. You have your thesis defense. Yes, you have to defend your thesis. So it's not about just let me do my research, submit my thesis, send it to a publisher to check the editing and all that. No, yeah, they don't check the editing. It's just you and your supervisor, so you are solely responsible for your editing. So if you have your some few errors here and there, I don't know how they check that, but the only thing that they check is plagiarism on Turnitin. Other than that, there's no language editing. And also at my university, we didn't have to print our thesis. So yeah, you just submit it and that was it. And then you are given a date to go and defend your thesis. And yeah, they say you have like 10 minutes for the thesis defense, and then they give you maybe like 5 minutes to answer the questions from the panel. So yeah, you gotta know your research from back to front. So yes, defend that thesis. So that is what determines what percentage you are getting for your graduation, and if you are graduating and all. And then after the thesis defense, you are given it. You also have to do state exam. Yes, I call it the state exam, which is the final exam, whereby you are given you are given the questions like before the exams, where you are reading about your industry basically. So you have to read those questions. My specialization had about 12, if I remember correctly. They have about 12 questions, so you go home to prepare, you answer those questions, and then on the day of the exams, the panel or whoever, they pick up questions from the ones that you were given. They might be similar, maybe the same, yeah. So you get those industry related questions, and then you have to answer on the spot. So you don't know which question is gonna be chosen. You don't know, yeah. So it's basically like a prepared surprise exam. I don't know, because yeah, you go home to prepare for those questions, and you are asked maybe like 2 or 3 of those questions from the 12 that you were given, and you have to like say it. And it's industry related questions, so they don't want just someone working in like UI textbook or something like that. It's industry related, so they say they are testing one with the final exam, state exam, and the thesis defense. They are testing how far you know your research and everything, and then also if you are ready for the industry that you studied for. So yeah, that is the difference with the questions. Whereas in South Africa, you have your exams, you sit in and you write. Guys, I don't actually miss the point where I was actually sitting down to write a final exam. Like I last did that in 2017, and I enjoyed having like a different perspective in terms of the studying, like the variation with Hungary and the South African education. So which one would I say I would choose? Oh, before that, actually, even with administration, guys, there are like office hours. So our administration office, it was usually like open until 11 or 10 on Mondays, and then on Tuesday they are not open, and then on Wednesday they open like at 1 until 3. So those were their working hours. So like even going for like to our administration offices, like trying to get assistant if your online thing is not working, it's yeah, the hours are like so little that you can go when they are open. It's limited hours. Whereas in South Africa, you knew that administration is open from like 8 until 4:30. So you can just hold in there. But in Hungary, it's usually maybe like 3 hours that they are open, and then after that they are closed, and then they are working in their offices. And and another thing with the education system was that on my first semester, I had a class that started at 5 p.m. I was like, how? Like my marketing class was at 5. And I was like, my goodness. It took me a while to get used to it, because I was like, guys, for me, I just know that if you go to school, back home, back in South Africa, you go to school. If you go at 8, yes, your classes are at 8, maybe then they end at 5. But then having a class that actually begins at 5 p.m., I was I was really, really struggling with that one. But then I got past it, and then after that, after choosing my specialization, and yeah, so now my class was divided into two specializations. There were people who chose I think it was during the third semester, the hospitality side, and then there was also the strategic management side, and I chose the strategic management side. But your girl is working on the hospitality side. A switch, yeah. So back to the schedule, guys. It is so different, and I remember like my Tuesdays would be so long because I would have like classes until 8 p.m. But they don't start like at 8 a.m., but they start like in the middle of the day, but then they end at 8 p.m., like 10 past 8 at night. That is when my classes would end on a Tuesday. And I was like, my gosh, like, yeah, it happened on my third semester. Okay, on my first semester, it was starting at 5 p.m., sorry. And then on my third semester, my classes would end at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays. And also on my last semester, like the fourth semester, my Tuesdays were so long. My last class on that day, when would they start? Oh, I had a day where my classes would end at 10 past 8, right? And then there was a time my last class would start at 6:40, 22:07. That is when my last class begins. And now I'll be like, and there wouldn't be even a huge gap between the other class, the previous class, and the next one, because it would be like 15 minutes, and then I will be swapping between two campuses. So yeah, I had like two campuses, but they were like a walking distance between each other. So imagine I'm having a class in this one, and then like at 3:15, and then after 3:15 I have to go to another campus to have my other class, which is like a double class. And here with a double class, it's usually a lecture, and then after it's a seminar. So yeah, they often divide them into two, so a class and a seminar. So yeah, the seminar is where we would discuss and have our presentations. So like the transition of what can I say, the transition from a South African studying perspective and also system, because I'm used to being given pamphlets of notes, to now going to class in Hungary, going to class, just sitting at the desk, and the lecturer is busy teaching with their PowerPoints, and then you get home, that you find the notes uploaded on your course space. That was like, yeah, that was a transition, and it was a good process and a good transition, although it had its own challenges, because now I was like, I don't know which subject to register for sometimes. But then my class had a messenger group, a Facebook group, where one of the Hungarians decided to open that group, and then they invited. It was actually opened by a Romanian classmate of mine, but yeah, she speaks Hungarian. So I remember when we first registered, and then we had those online mini classes, and then she would say, if you are not on the school group, please let me know or invite me on Facebook. So Christina, big ups to you, girl. She started that group and started adding people from our class. So I think that is one of the things that made the transition smooth, because sometimes you would not, like, even your class schedule is on the Neptune system, so sometimes there will be changes, or maybe you don't even know where to find your timetable or what class we have. And yeah, the Hungarian students and the other students who are familiar with the system, they've been very helpful to us international students, like telling us, now the registration period has opened, and now there is this. And yeah, they've been really helpful on that group, and that is one of the support system that has been great during my studies here in Hungary. So yeah, so to all the international students, how have you have you ever experienced any differences or any similarities between the education system of your home country and also of the foreign country that you are located in or you once studied in? It can be like any other country. So yeah, thank you guys for watching my video, and please don't forget to subscribe, share, and engage, please guys. And thank you for sticking through to the channel, and see you on the next installment.